Here's a fun way of discovering which efforting archetype you are. This is your forcing style that stops you from going with the flow. Now, first of all, we have the survivor striver, symbolized today by the red kumara, otherwise known as a sweet potato. Then we have the stimulated creator, represented by the orange persimmon. And then we have the identity performer. Today we have the yellow lemon as this fine example. And then finally we have the escapist achiever. Now these four archetypes are the reasons behind why we effort and push and strive and just make our life a little bit more difficult than we need to sometimes, when we're always pushing and efforting and not going with the flow and trusting the process. The colours of these do symbolise something very significant, and I'll be sharing all about that in another video. I'll pop the link below. Now, let's dive in to finding out which one of these delicious archetypes you are. The survivor-striver archetype is a person driven by a deep subconscious feeling that I must push to be safe. So this is a belief that keeps them forcing. That is their motivational mechanism at the core. So their inner driver has become tied to survival. And this person unconsciously learned that pushing equals safety, that money equals safety, productivity equals worth, and even financial worth equals self-worth. Things like success equals control, and that movement and the force gives them the feeling of security. This is all subconscious, and they often are actually extremely highly capable, highly responsible people that are very good at holding their life together. So from the outside, they usually look very successful. Yet internally, there's often a constant low-level pressure running in the background that says, don't stop, keep going, you can rest later. The second archetype is the stimulated creator, symbolized here by the orange persimmon. Orange is the color of creativity, more on that later. So this one is very personal for me, and unlike the survival striver, the stimulated creator is a person who is not necessarily driven by fear and instead driven by stimulation, ideas, creativity, expansion, possibility, vision, intensity. This is the person with 1,000 tabs open mentally, the person who gets excited by inspiration itself, and their brain is moving so fast that they feel alive through momentum. And this can look incredibly productive and passionate. Yet underneath it all, there's often an addiction to that stimulation itself. This can be an addiction to dopamine. And honestly, they don't know how to simply be without turning everything into a movement, a new project, a new possibility, a new creation. I know this because I've done this. And when we or they slow down, life can just suddenly feel really weirdly flat. Almost like quiet is uncomfortable. So we or they create again, think again, start another project, chase another idea. And that is an overview of the stimulated creator. The identity performer, otherwise known as the capable one, is represented by the yellow lemon. Do remember your colour and fruit. This will help you later in the series. So this person's entire identity is built around being the strong one, the reliable one, the productive one, the helper, the achiever. Basically, this person is someone who holds it all together. We all know someone like that, right? So eventually achievement for this person stops being something they do and it becomes who they are, which means slowing down can actually feel quite terrifying, because underneath it is the question, if I stop achieving, who am I? So that is the lemon, and we'll move on to the final archetype, the escapist achiever, the green line. Now this person stays busy so they don't have to feel. This one is far more common than people realize, because productivity can become emotional avoidance disguised as ambition. Now, this person uses work, goals, self-improvement, believe it or not, constant thinking, constant planning, constant doing, simply to avoid sitting with grief, loneliness, emptiness, uncertainty, or any unresolved emotion. So the busyness becomes an anesthetic. As long as they're moving, forcing, pushing, they don't have to fully meet themselves and where they're at with their feelings. And that is the escapist achiever. The green lime, colour of the heart, the emotions. That's what this entire series is really all about. So over the next few videos, I'm going to dive deeper into each of these archetypes, and more importantly, how we can begin to shift from constantly efforting and trying too hard into a much more aligned way of living. I'll put the links to the other archetype videos in the description below, and in the meantime, if this conversation is already something that's resonating with you, please watch this next video because it connects deeply to what we've talked about today.